Hey, real quick, this is Jenny. You are listening to a free and shorter version of What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang. If you want the whole thing ad-free, become a free or paid subscriber at jennyyang.substack.com. Paid subscribers keep my raspy Asian voice independent so I can talk my shit. And remember to get your topic on our weekly agenda. Leave a cute voicemail or text at 323-250-3589. On with the show. What should we talk about?
What should we talk about?
What should we talk about?
It is Thursday, April 24th, 2025, on another weirdly chilly day here in Los Angeles. And like a freaky Friday Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, I am beside myself. This is What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang, your weekly catch-up time with smart and funny people who give a fuck. Probably too many fucks. We discuss topics submitted by our guests and you, the listener. Any topic, current, old, big, small, nerdy, petty, because you don't want to feel like you're losing your mind, and because we long for a better world filled with fun, love, joy, and cool shit. This is What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang. Look at us. On today's agenda, number 1, podcast updates. Number 2, sinners. Number 3, can we get a hot pope? Number 4, lack of critical thinking. Number 5, the studio on Apple TV. Number 6, $5,000 for women to have babies. Number 7, action items. And number 8, how can we support you? In the studio, we have Dolly Li, documentary filmmaker and journalist. And now you can add cultural consultant on the movie Sinners to the list. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Oh my God, excuse me. Host and producer of, quote, Untold Story of the Mississippi Delta Chinese on AJ+, which was the inspo for the Sinners Chinese characters. Director of, quote, Ghosts of Chinatown. I like to quote it because sometimes you don't know. Ghosts of Chinatown on Hulu. Check that out. Brooklyn native in LA. Lived in Texas, Hong Kong, Oakland. Dolly, what do you want to shout out this week?
Shouting out this week that I got to see some coyotes in my neighborhood, which is really exciting because I love to see nature thrive.
Oh, I love that. You're not afraid of nature.
I should be afraid of me. No.
Wow. You are fierce. You are very fierce.
As a New Yorker in LA.
The New Yorkers in LA are scaring away the coyotes.
I welcome
true.
them.
That's right.
One
love
at a
that.
time.
I love that. No, I do love being in nature. People don't know that about LA,
Yes.
right?
LA
That we're
has
actually
nature.
right up against nature.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Blakely Thornton. Why do I want to add a D to it? Blakely Thornton. Like it's an
Wow.
adjective,
It's a
a
verb.
verb.
A verb. Yeah.
It's very It's very Bridgerton.
It is.
Blakely
Blakely Thornton.
Yeah. It
Pop
is.
pop culture anthropologist and podcast host. What is the podcast name?
Yesterdays with Justin Sylvester.
Incredible. And it's going to debut.
It's going to debut May 27th, I believe, on podcast one. We'll be talking about queer moments before there was the internet. So, like, Diana Ross, like, tapping Little Kim's titty at the 99 VMAs.
I mean, listen,
was
that is a
iconic.
very iconic moment.
But we all, it was like the Challenger launch. We all remember where we were at that time.
Yes.
It just, like, jaw dropped. And you couldn't, like, tweet about it. You just had to, like, remember.
You guys have to talk about the Cher vampire film.
Right? Mm.
Oh. So this is a scoop because we have not announced this podcast yet, have we?
I think this is the first time it's being announced on any, like, public forum.
Get out
Breaking
my
news.
face.
Breaking
Sorry,
news.
podcast one.
Pew, pew, pew. Don't
You
worry. The viewership on my current podcast is very low and new, but it's a dedicated following. I'm so happy you're here, Blakely. What do you want to shout out this week?
I'd like to shout out the last season of Penn Badgley's You.
Have you watched it already?
I've only watched 2 episodes, but
Okay, yeah.
it's just gloriously unhinged, and he's famous in this season, which is wild. Because he is a murderer.
But it feels right for this time.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
100%.
It feels right
Yeah.
for absolute pathetic sociopaths and psychopaths to be famous.
100%.
I can't watch that show.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's too triggering.
It's too. I'm too triggered by it. It gives me nightmares.
Yeah, the stalkery of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I am one of those freaks who gets soothed by true crime, so I apologize.
Mhm.
Sorry. Gasp. That's me. Me, how am I doing this week? I'd like to shout out I sold an asset. I'm going to
Oh.
leave it ambiguous. I sold an asset so that I don't run out of money.
Are you a crypto bro?
No,
Okay.
no, but it's something. And I just wanted to shout that out because Hollywood is the Titanic falling apart, hitting the iceberg, and I must invest in myself.
Yes.
I feel like that's what I'm doing with
I
this
love
money that
that.
I've
Yes.
made off of my sales. So,
Yes.
as they say, watch me work. I don't know. I don't know what they say. I don't know what they say.
Send gold bars.
Exactly.
Well, I'm so excited to go to number 1, podcast updates. Hard launch, baby. I feel like this episode makes me feel comfortable about all the 10 test episodes I've done. This 11th episode will be a part of the hard launch. So congratulations
Yay!
to you.
Oh my
You're one of my
God.
first podcast guests. And it had to
Amazing.
happen between the two of you because you're so iconic.
Breaking
Thank you,
news.
you
So much
know?
breaking news.
Yeah. And, as they say in the biz, the podcast biz that I don't really know about, but apparently it's nice to have like 3 episodes banked, even though this is like a day and date kind of a weekly show. And so
Mhm.
this will be one of the 3. And then I'll announce it to
Gosh.
everyone. Podcast everywhere, stream it, watch it. But the full episode will always be extended cut. I was gonna make a terrible joke, but extended cut. No person involved. Extended cut. Always on Substack for paid subscribers.
Love it.
All right.
We love
So
it.
that's the update.
Nothing for free.
So congratulations.
Congrats, Jenny.
Listen, this is what I
Yes.
mean. Like I can't rely on Hollywood. We can't trust these gatekeepers.
No.
No.
And so therefore, I am for the first time ever, I'm monetizing my following.
That's a big step.
Yeah.
It
But like,
is.
But like, you know what? You deserve it.
No, I do, and I'm very confident about saying that because if anyone knows me, I have given my heart and soul to the community,
Truly.
Yes.
Truly.
to the people, comedy, Asian American, people of color,
Yes.
on Twitter, on other things, and so it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. I'm just saying, support me. You know what I mean?
It's how you start a cult.
Freedom
is-
costs $1.05, kid.
Or $8 a month, or 6 something if you pay annually.
$8.05.
Number 2, and by the way, fair warning, we have so many topics on today's podcast as we should, but if we end up just talking about sinners, I'm not mad at that
Neither am I.
Not mad.
because I think I had to. This is the thinking behind this booking. I said, Dolly Li, we're all obsessed with sinners, and I saw your name in the credits. You were a cultural consultant for Ryan Coogler. And I was like, we have to talk about it. I know you. I
Yes,
need to
for
get you
sure.
on as a guest, other than the fact that you're also fabulous in other ways. And then I said to myself, 2 Chinese people talking about Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Not on my watch, said the ally. And so I said, who better to talk about this than my awesome buddy, who is a pop culture expert.
Thank you.
And
no, in fact, I was the lost smokestack brother.
is that right?
In this chimney, they cut me out.
Stop.
Could have been triplets.
Could have been triplets.
Um,
Could have been the one.
the Freaky Friday of it all. I see triplets.
You know, the non-identical triplet.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, so I had to have Blakely on to talk about it all because there's a lot of layers to the discourse.
So
Yeah.
The
many
capital D
layers.
discourse is heavy, especially when it comes to the Asians involved. Oh my
Mhm.
God. And as always, Corey's on the 4th mic, heard but not seen. Like a straight man should be. Gasp.
Freedom isn't free.
Irish jigging.
So I think just to introduce it, let's just get a little background. I mean, we've all seen it,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
But
yes,
let's get a
yes.
little background from Dolly about how you got onto the project and what your participation was.
Yeah, so this honestly is kind of crazy. This film was made in like a year. So it was just last year when I heard about this. And it wasn't that direct initially. It was a few actor friends who kept telling me over the course of like 2 weeks that they were getting my documentary, the one about the Mississippi Delta Chinese on AJ Plus. They're like, we're getting your documentary for a casting call. Haha. Just watching your work again. Haha. And I was like, who is making an indie about my documentary and not telling me?
Yes.
Right? I was like,
Yeah.
somebody needs to tell me right now.
Yeah.
Until someone eventually was like, oh, I know who it is. They're like, it's a Ryan Coogler production. And I was like, as someone with a journalist training, I am not going to trust anybody without a primary source. I need to hear this
Yeah.
from the Ryan Coogler Production Company Incorporated or else. And so it's like, I don't trust anything, whatever. I didn't think about it. And then I did hear from Ryan Coogler's production company, Proximity. And they're like, hey, we're working on this thriller, and part of the story is inspired by the Mississippi Delta Chinese documentary that you did. And Ryan and his team would really love to talk to you, see if you're open to consulting. And that's how I started getting involved.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
it's kind
that.
of crazy. It was just gossip at first.
Right. All the Asian actors were like, why are we doing a hard Mississippi accent?
Yes, yes. And
This
all
is new.
The way people freak out, by the way, I love that, like, when obviously I follow Black Twitter / threads / wherever we are now.
The simulation.
The simulation.
Simulation.
Yeah. So um the mesh that is the internet, I love that Black internet has discovered the source material.
Yes.
And so they've
yes.
been like sharing a lot of clips from your AJ Plus documentary without attribution. And so whenever I see it, I'm out there like commenting. By the way, shout out to Dolly Li, who is the
Thank
journalist who
you.
made this,
Thank you,
because
thank you.
people need to know. And if they have questions, they should talk to you, you know?
Yes.
And if there's like, like there's really tough opinions about the relationship between Chinese folks and Asian folks with Black folks. So that's going to happen. But if there's any question that is like factual, or like, let's have you on the thread, you know?
I also knew it was factual because my grandparents are from Sturgis, Mississippi.
Oh,
So like I'm very
wow.
familiar. So it felt very like, oh my God. Like
What
my
Mississippi?
Sturgis, Mississippi.
Sturgis.
Little 2-horse town or whatever, but my grandparents are from there and then moved to Chicago right before my mom was born.
Oh wow.
So I was just like, oh, this is
Chimney.
accurate. Like,
Oh my
it
God,
was
this is a
wild,
part
wild.
of your direct heritage.
Truly. I was like, no, that's true. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
I was watching with a white person. I've seen it twice, and they were like, that's crazy. I'm like, it's actually not. And also,
Yeah.
you didn't catch about how like one person's working on one side of the road, and
Mhm.
like that scene. I was like, that is so factual.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like having two sides of
Yeah.
it playing, you have to like be in both areas,
Yes.
code switch, the accents, all of it.
Yes.
It was
Right.
very like, yeah.
I love the pearl clutching of a white friend who was like, how? How is it that this Chinese merchant has two stores
Yes.
separate
What-
and not
and
equal?
that's
Why do they
freaking-
sound southern? Because bitch, that's where they are.
No, but that's okay
And
though.
the
I'm
prices are
okay.
slightly different actually in the film.
Right.
The
Mhm.
prices are actually slightly different. The
I noticed that.
set designers on this show, I worked with them a lot, the set designers, and they were so meticulous about everything.
They did their job.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And I'm honestly not mad at the fact that people are so confused by the Chinese involved in this, because it's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
It's a teachable moment, and the fact that your documentary gets another life
Yeah.
on the internet is so beautiful to me. I'm obsessed with the intersections of Asian and otherwise. Number one, any Black actor or famous person who roughly looks like they could be Chinese, I will look to see if they're from the Caribbean. Corey knows this.
For
Anytime
sure.
I'll be like, is she an undercover Asian? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Tyson
always
Beckford.
asking. Because people,
Expose them.
Tyson Beckford, we need to talk about it, okay?
Mhm.
That's where everybody is secret Asian man.
Yes.
There is just a secret Asian in every single person.
That's how I protected my little baby identity as an Asian American growing up, is seeing Asians in everywhere, because we are everywhere. We are 1 out of 5 humans on the planet.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Facts.
Ryan Coogler found out that somebody in his family who's from Mississippi actually has Chinese ancestry, and that's how he went down this rabbit hole. He was like, how could we be from Mississippi and Black and Chinese? Like,
Yeah.
where did this come from? And that's how he discovered the doc.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many Chinese in the world. If you don't have Chinese ancestry somewhere, what are you doing?
Nothing. Not existing.
Nothing.
Eating
Not
like
existing.
potatoes.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Let's just get your general. How did you feel? You have lineage that's connected with this story. Like, how did it feel for you to watch this movie?
It just felt like, one, it's just so fun to see an original big budget feature in any
Mhm.
capacity. I also love seeing Black people in like fantasy and horror genre, because usually it's like, if it's not like basketball player gets out of the hood, can he do it? Like, I'm like, that's not everybody's existence.
Why do you have to be popping while you do it?
Because that's what they ask you to do. They're like, can you do it while breakdancing? And I'm like, fuck
That
you,
was
no.
very, very Nick Cannon.
You know? Exactly. Nick Cannon, Terry Crews.
Well, can I tell you, I fell in love with Drumline as a child, and I,
did love
truly
Drumline.
was in love with Nick Cannon, according to Drumline.
Girl,
Why not?
that face he made while drumming made me want to punch him in the face. I'm just like, stop it. Your concentration face makes you want to die.
As an
Mariah
adolescent
Carey
girl,
loved it.
yeah,
Right? She left. She was like, I've seen enough of it.
girlhood is based off of corniness. Okay,
It's true.
I'm just telling you right now, being corny is the foundation of girlhood.
I love that.
Okay, so you love seeing, yeah, I love that. It's an original film, all right? It's not another sequel.
Yeah.
Been there, done that, Ryan Coogler,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the fact that, I mean, we have to address the thing that dominated the immediate headlines, which is, why are the Hollywood trades negging sinners like they are a toxic bro at a bar
It
with a
was
hot chick?
wild.
So
The
ridiculous.
chick is so hot. How can you neg her?
It was so. I'm
They're
like,
just so
the
jealous.
fact that they put the Ben Stiller called it out. It was so bad.
Yes.
Listen,
Like,
when Ben
Yes.
Stiller is out here in the forefront, the vanguard of the civil rights movement.
Right? When you're making Ben Stiller act like Harriet Tubman, you've done something wildly incorrect.
Franklin Leonard, the founder of Blacklist, I don't know who was the first one who figured out that they were negging
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler in these trades headlines, but I saw that definitely, Franklin Leonard did a side-by-side, and that shit was infuriating.
Truly.
So
But this is why
infuriating.
I'm so mad that like we don't have Twitter anymore, is because we definitely get to heckle the industry until they submit.
Exactly.
And they did, because they finally figured it out. Okay, yes, this is a bias that you've called us out on. Let's change up the headlines.
Exactly.
And that's why I miss old Twitter. I miss old Twitter. But we've managed on TikTok and Threads to do other things.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, I love that. And then and let's go back to the separate but not equal of it all. Right? One of the things, let's just dig into it. One of the juicy points of discussion around this Mississippi Delta documentary, when I see it posted, especially by someone with a Black avatar, is, hey, did you know this is real? Number one, that's a lot of what people are saying.
Mhm.
And number two, a lot of the commentary is a kind of sadness and anger around what they see, which is a quote from one of the main women who says, we had to start the store because no one else was doing it. And a lot of people picked up on that, saying no one else is doing it. Are you kidding me? That kind of passively describes the fact that Black folks were just racismed out of the ability to run their own stores. Right? And I just think it's so poignant to have this conversation, because we don't have these conversations enough. Right? The opportunity for the sort of Black Asian, the Black and yellow of it all.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to see for me as an Asian American who wants to be like, I'm in solidarity, and then to see the real anger of some Black folks who are just like, see, this is how they do us. It's like, oh, sometimes yes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes yes. So I don't know, how have you sort of been taking in that kind of discourse around the separate but not equal?
This film did come out in 2017, and I've been working in documentary for 10 years. So I feel like the discourse has always been there, and I think that this is the discourse that should come out of this kind of film and these kinds of characters. I mean, if we want to speak like specifically to that quote though,
Yeah.
I would say one, it's like 20 seconds out of a longer clip.
That's right.
So we don't have context to what she's talking about, what Frida's talking about.
Yeah.
And I'd also say that she's elderly, right?
Yeah.
And she's speaking about her own lived experience,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And part of her lived experience is that the Chinese were not allowed to live in white communities,
Sure.
and the only place they could really live is a business, like a storefront, because that's the only way to legally have a home. So they couldn't live in like a house.
Yeah.
So the only way to exist was to live in a store. And so, unfortunately, I mean, like, there's no way that the Black American existence and the Chinese American existence is equal, right? Like, the Black
No.
American existence is not based on opportunity, right? Like, despite immigrants having a really hard time in America, a lot of them having a hard time, refugees and immigrants having a hard time when they get to America, they're still arriving with the background of opportunity,
Yeah.
right? Like, it may have been terrible wherever you came from, but you get to arrive with opportunity, with a desire to seek that out, and the door is wide open. Not wide open, but the door's open to that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that Black Americans didn't get to arrive in America seeking opportunity.
No.
That was not the conditions in which you have Black folks here in the country. So I think that when you look at they're like different positions in society, yeah, immigrants are in the position of opportunity, and these Chinese grocery owners, similar to the grocery owners before them, right? The Lebanese, the Italians, the people who ran the grocery stores in the Delta before, they arrived with the opportunity to continue opening these stores and running these stores. To me, it's similar to like how in New York, growing up, most of the bodegas were run by like Indian or like South Asian families, sometimes Chinese or Korean families. Today, a lot more of them are like Nepalese, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, right? Like
Yemeni.
it's Yemeni.
Mhm.
So these stores all over America from like the beginning of time, this is what this documentary's shown me, they keep getting passed on to the next immigrant group that's willing to grovel,
Mhm.
but for an opportunity,
Right.
right? And I think what's critical for people to know is like, yes, this is like a really cool part of history that Chinese people were this like small part of society, but this is an opportunity that Black Americans are excluded from.
For sure.
Right. And I don't know if it's fair to like pile onto a senior citizen for her to like speaking about her
Her lived
lived
existence.
experience.
Yeah.
But I think that there's room for like the emotional reaction of like it hurts to be reminded of like
Yeah.
the people who have opportunity and
Yeah.
the people who don't.
Yeah.
But also, you know, I appreciate all the debate in the threads where
Yes.
people are also hyper aware of like, well, they're also positioned in a way where they don't have much of a choice, right? This is
Mhm.
where they were positioned in society as people who were imported into America to be cheap labor and intentionally, you know, there's
I know.
primary sources intentionally to antagonize the Black community for gaining freedom, right? And that is the nature of this
It's the nature
this
of
hierarchy.
whiteness.
It's the
Yeah.
nature of whiteness.
Whiteness is a created idea to stop the proletariat from overthrowing the 1%. Really, it's like
Mm.
back even back
Yes,
to days when like
Fanon.
when there was like when
That's
they were
right. Yes. Yes, Fanon.
when they were when they were
Yes,
white
Marx.
when they were white sharecroppers and Black people and they were like, wait, we're fuck this, let's go kill that rich man. They're like, actually, we're giving you whiteness now, you're better than them.
Yeah.
So I feel like the whole thing is based on we're still going to mistreat you, but we will give you a slightly better proximity to whiteness, whiteness
Yes.
being an avatar for opportunity to keep you from coming together and being like, actually, let's kill these people.
Mhm.
Totally.
Or to keep you being like, and I think keeping us apart is the goal of that
100.
access. And I think Black people need to take back that and like pierce the veil on the fact that they were positioned in the thing to create everything from shopkeepers to the model minority myth
Yeah.
to allowing people from other countries who had advanced degrees and being like, well, they're thriving. Yeah, they're thriving because you wanted them to create
Mhm.
further animosity between us and them, but you're still going to mistreat them. And it's like, well, you're Indian or Chinese, but you're a doctor or you're a store
Mhm.
owner or you're a
Yeah.
professional. Where like you're like killing us for going to school. So then we have an animosity towards them as well, but that's built by the power trying to keep themselves in the pole position.
Yeah, I always felt like, especially when I left Southern California, because Southern California growing up is so brown and Asian to me and so immigrant, that when I went to the East Coast, I realized that the Black and white dynamic was that much stronger. And so anything that wasn't Black and white felt very confusing for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just
Truly.
frankly, this is
Yeah.
both on the white side and on the Black side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Philadelphia for undergrad, and that is a very Black and white
Mhm.
city. And I think what I didn't know was how confusing I was to people. I am a foreigner, and so they see me as a literal alien, and they also don't know whether I'm Black or white. And there's so many markers that as this third weird group growing up, existentially, you have to like make certain choices. Now everyone listens to rap and punk, okay? But
Yeah.
back in the day, you had to choose. All
Yeah.
right, you had to choose. Are you Black or are you white?
Are you
Honestly,
Green Day or you Biggie?
it's all coded. Like, it was very coded.
Yeah.
Are you trying to be Black or are you trying to be white?
Yeah.
And so that's why I have a lot of it's different now, but I have a lot of grace and compassion for what people have to do to survive. And I think now that we know better, let's do better. But like, ooh, the fact that like as an Asian American, to be Asian in America is to be conditionally white or Black,
Mhm.
and to have it be changed according to what is useful to white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a lot of big words, but it's like that's why sometimes you find exceptions to the rule. Asians, yeah, maybe they're getting rich off of being a part of the merchant class. Okay, maybe they're getting educated. Oh, maybe they're being accepted en masse because you have to be educated from the home countries in order to come to America. So that's going to be a selective immigration, and that's going to determine a big chunk of what Asian Americans mean. Or you're going to be a refugee, or you're going to be only forced to live in, very not great neighborhoods. You're going to have to join gangs. You're going to have to do all these other things. And so it's like there is such a duality to the Asian American identity.
But I also think in a way and I recognize in the way there's financial capital and there's cultural capital.
Mhm.
And I think in a
Yes.
way where Asian Americans or Asians that have been coming here as immigrants have been able to financially gain capital, we have the cultural capital.
100%.
Where we might not be getting the financial benefits, which is always a problem, but again, like blackness and what, even when it's illegal to be us, it's fucking cool to be us. So
Yes.
the
Yeah.
second those shackles came out, people were like, let's go to the fucking juke joint. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Let us
Let
in.
us in. Let
Let
us
us
in.
in.
let's kill them afterwards. Let's shoot them with machine guns when they're done. But god damn it, that Negro plays jazz. So I mean, in a way, we're like, it's also going to be stifling in a completely inverse and opposite way to be allowed to exist financially, but also being like, what's that food? Who are you? What is that? That's
Mhm.
weird. In a way,
Yeah.
we're like, everybody knows the N-word's bad. There's a plethora of anti-Asian slurs that people. Like, even like the Six Flags man was that small Asian man until like 2007, and I'm like, is this not racist?
Yeah. Oh my
Wait,
God,
he was Asian?
throwback.
He was
Oh my
like that, or like
God.
there's like weird like Asian cartoons and like
Yes,
things.
yes,
I'm like, this
yes.
is racist. You're
Yeah.
doing a racism to sell me Rice Krispie treats.
Yes.
But like, it was just okay until like Obama was president. Like, I don't know why. It was
I
like
know.
a very strange. Even like Disney movies, like, look at that Asian
Yeah.
kid, let's beat him. Like, what?
I-
Disney?
I fundamentally, I actually accept that in America, racism will always be with us, just like guns. Like, we just have
Yeah.
to die with both of them, pew pew. But speaking on cultural capital, you know, I
Yeah.
think what makes this moment so phenomenal that allows us to have this conversation is that the cultural capital that Ryan Coogler and his entire team, the what they have, right, is so powerful that
So
it's
powerful.
completely rocking the industry. And
Mhm.
he easily, for anyone that's seen the film, he could have easily made these storekeepers black or white.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yeah.
would have overthought it, right? Like,
No.
nobody would have thought like, oh, why are they not Chinese, right? That's
Totally.
never gonna come up.
Right?
No one's gonna fact check that. It's a
No.
vampire film. There's no fact checking really that he
No.
needs to do.
Yeah.
But he insisted, right? He's like, this is historically accurate. This is what happened. And I want this dynamic and the friendship between the Smokestack brothers and Bo and Grace to be present.
Mhm.
And I want it to be clear that, you know, even with their friendship, right? Like when these characters are introduced, they're introduced with negotiating price, right? And I think that is
Yes.
so fascinating that he, I believe it's Stack goes first from teaching that little girl how to negotiate for more money
Mhm.
to then going straight to negotiating with Grace over money for the signs.
Yeah.
So he's showing her a skill that she, like this little girl, you need the skill. You got to be negotiating, right?
Yeah.
But it also establishes the dynamic between the Smokestack brothers and the Chows.
Mhm.
Yes, they're friends, like childhood friends.
Yeah.
But they're also like the hired caterers of the party.
And she's like, we came here to give these motherfuckers fish. Go get the car. I did not sign up for this. We were acquaintances, not friends. All right.
This is a business deal.
We're not doing murders.
And I know that people have a lot of spice. I don't think there's any right opinion on this. There's a lot of spicy takes because I do think, yes, like I think there's the perspective where like they should be allies and they betrayed the community by saying like we gotta go, we gotta dip.
Well, let's before we
People
get
are
into
dying, Kim. I don't feel bad. I think I'm down with Grace being like, get the motherfucking car. Put the car on.
Well, before we get into true spoiler territory, I want
Mhm.
to go back. I want to go back to the idea about. I love your point about how we are sometimes only allowed to fill into the spaces we are allowed to fill into, and sometimes we got to take that power, and the cultural power of Black folks, the financial power of Asian Americans, is so real. Because for so long, whenever I would be on some panel about Asian Americans in like media and like culture, I always would make this point like, we need to leverage our cultural power more. Korea's been doing it for us a
Mhm.
little bit.
Hey, Black
My
Pink.
my straight Asian male friends who are out here on dating apps is like, thanks to Koreans, I'm getting way more play. Okay?
What?
Yeah, because of K-dramas, because of
Yes,
K-pop, because of the
K-pop.
popularity. We
Mhm.
got East Asian men being like, oh, maybe sometimes I'm fetishized, but at least I'm getting more play on the dating apps.
Oh,
Yeah.
the men
Yeah.
are.
The men, the men, the
Okay,
men.
I was
Yeah.
like, I was,
No,
I thought you were talking
no.
about white men and Korean women. I was like,
No.
what?
No.
Looking at
Cancel.
you.
Asian men.
Cancel.
Asian men,
Okay,
the
good.
cult, like we
Cool.
need. I always said Asian Americans, we need to leverage our cultural power. Koreans have been doing it for the Asian men on dating apps, and I was out here being like, where do Asians show up when we are excited about something? Where are we complaining en masse? It's when someone talks shit about our food. The only real, this is real.
You're
The
not
only
lying.
real cultural power Asians had for a long time was food. It was something that everyone knew, whether it was Chinese takeout, Thai food,
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
So, and it's so important to us. So on the internet, when people would talk shit or like get something wrong about Asian food, Bro, the Yelpers showed up. Okay,
did,
we
en
the
masse.
Asians rose up. I was like, can we harness some of this energy for some other righteous shit too? Do you know what I'm saying? Like that was always my feeling. It's like, why are we
Yeah.
not doing that? And so thankfully, America's Best Dance Crew, R.I.P. When that showed up, and all of a sudden they're like, where did these coordinated rhythmic Asians come from? From the California universities, fool.
You know,
Yes.
the Jabberwockies were the MLK of dance. If we really want
That's
to,
a hot take.
hot take.
But also,
Hot take.
But also, I love that like Asians can be pop stars in America now, because back in the day, even the Jabberwockies or even Far East movement, they had to wear masks to hide the fact that they were Asian to be palatable.
They're like, don't
I
look
did
at
not know the Far East movement were Asian.
Thank
the
you.
Far West movement.
I mean, but
Popping
also,
bottles in the eye.
would it
Dun,
be
dun, dun,
crazy
Like a
for white men to
G6.
put on masks and call themselves the Far East movement in the 2000s?
Maybe a
No.
DJ, maybe a DJ will
Exactly,
put on a mask
like-
or a
like-
helmet, but
yeah.
but no, this is like
Oh, so it was, like,
we've come a
Asian.
bit farther. Like
I thought they meant Brooklyn.
no, no.
They're Irish. It's just a bunch of Irish dudes.
Wow.
Far East
Brooklyn, the
movement.
Far
you mean
East.
as in the East Coast?
Boston. The more you
Far
know.
East Coast.
Anyway, the cultural power thing is so real, and every other group is trying to draft off of Black cultural power.
Yeah.
And truly, what a flex Ryan Coogler did with this.
Truly. If he didn't bring this up in the film, would people be circulating this doc and just bringing it up
Right?
and debating?
Shout out to Ryan Coogler.
Shout out Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, just a tight teeth shout out.
But the world building of it all,
Yeah.
I want to encounter them in the 1970s and also be a vampire, like a Studio 54
Yes.
vampire
Ooh.
movie.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's what disco's meant for, baby. Night out.
70s, 90s.
Or also like just gracing them before all this happened. I want
Yeah.
like, because like, what's their daughter gonna do now?
I know.
Right.
Like, is she just up in the shop like,
I know.
Papa, can you hear me? No,
Yeah.
he's dead.
No, I feel like
Baby.
I feel like the TikToks have covered it. There's all these opportunities for a multiverse. Some people
Yeah.
are like, don't fuck with it. But it's like,
No,
bro,
do
I'm
it.
so curious about prequel of Smoke and Stack in
Mhm.
Chicago.
Yes.
Right? Playing off the Irish and the Italians. Love that shit.
Yeah. What's
Next.
their dad situation? There's so much dad talk.
Right? Oh, daddy issues galore.
Mhm.
Next, we have Native Americans, American Indians, the vampire hunters.
Mhm.
The way they dipped immediately.
Love that.
Love that
Like,
for
they're
them.
like, we tried.
Goodbye.
I wanted to
Knock,
see
knock,
them come
we said-
back.
I'm not gonna tell you
so
more than once.
badly though.
I
was
wanted
like,
to see them come
come
back.
back and do a thing. But it's like, no, we don't need to save your asses. Go ahead and deal with it on your own.
They learned. These people came
Fair.
over in
Yeah.
1700s, fucked us 7 ways from Sunday.
Yeah.
Tried to say a
Yeah.
bunch of white
No.
people.
No.
Good,
No.
good luck. They saw a Klan hood. We told your ass. Goodbye forever.
They're like, good luck.
Make peace be with you, bitch.
You will trust a dusty, gross-looking white man over us.
So
Who's sizzling
dusty.
like a steak.
Sizzling.
He was on.
well
Absolutely
done.
sizzling.
Just a
Extremely
hibachi
sizzling.
ass white man.
Hibachi white man. A
Just
hibachi,
bacon
With
showing up at your door,
swords.
Right?
fresh
A
out the pants.
hibachi
Sores all
tofu.
over.
And they're like, this white man.
He just came from the Benihana. The chef just cut him up. He is a flame.
Although I was talking about this. Once he was like, that man's come back to kill y'all, I'd be like, tell me more.
Right?
Like once he said the Klan's coming at dawn, I'd be like, well, no. Fellowship and love, like Riverdance is kind of lit. Living forever, why not?
The vampire Rennick.
Yeah,
Remick.
Remick.
Remick was a seducer.
Oh my god. So much
It was all about
seducing.
seduction.
right?
The insidiousness
Yeah.
of the white man seducing us all.
Yes. I mean,
But I love that he was
vampires.
Irish too, because the Irish people were the black folks of white people.
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
people did not like Irish, and I was always like, when you watch the Gilded Age, you're like that dirty Irish person. How do you know what?
No, they were
Mhm.
one
Y'all
of
all white.
the ethnic whites in American history were the first conditional black and white people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The conditions always shifted, and then the Chinese showed up. That shifted, and then, like they said, the blue bloods in charge said, "Irish, do you want to not think you're poor but still be poor? Claim white.
Welcome.
Welcome to
Welcome.
whiteness."
Check.
Do they-
Check it off.
Racism is the original MLM.
It is
Like low key.
No, all of America
It's
is
like if you just oppress 15 people below you, you can get access to home ownership
You-
and generational wealth. But nobody gets generational wealth,
No.
guys. It's over
No.
for all of us.
No, we're all just little pods of energy and capital to be sucked on by the capitalists.
Mm.
Woof.
I mean, let's be true. It's an MLM. Also, truly, America's built off of myth and propaganda.
True.
Yeah.
We know how to tell good stories. That's why Hollywood is so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that not white? White. Is
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes,
not?
it is.
Is that not white? Is that not right? Freudian slip. My seductive white man.
It's very white.
Let's get back to the juiciness.
The
of,
juicy vampires.
We need to talk about the moment. The get the stuff. We're getting out of here, as well as, not Bo, but what's her name? Grace.
Grace,
Yeah.
yeah, Grace.
Grace being like, my man is gone, and I want to fight. And we were just waiting for it. We were just waiting for that shoe to drop when she finally was like, come on in. Bitch, can you understand the gasp I gasped when she yelled, come on in? I was so mad at her. I was literally sitting there like, fucking Asians, you can't trust them. I was sitting there being like, fucking Asians, bro. Like, I get it. She was like ready to fight. She's a belligerent bitch. Okay. I get that. That's part of her energy.
He had her then when he threatened the daughter. Because he was like, if they don't come in, then they could be running outside, and they've managed to kill everyone outside. So, like, I get it a little bit.
It's not a
Still
logical.
dumb.
It's still dumb. It's not a logical choice.
But human.
It's definitely
It's
not a
human.
logical choice. I mean, I think for the plot, they definitely needed the moment to like really up the ante in
Of
the movie,
course.
right? So they needed somebody to let them all in. But I also think, like, besides mentioning the daughter, there's a scene where Remick, the vampire, speaks to Grace in Chinese.
Oh, yeah. The devil doing Duolingo.
He's definitely doing Duolingo. And this is like such a specific thing I remember from consulting with them last year. They asked me specifically about those lines.
Oh,
The like,
wow.
Good.
I know how you like to be licked lines.
Wait,
I
how do you
was
say
like-
it? How do you say it? Say it.
So no. I'm not gonna say, because they asked me which dialect to say it in,
Oh,
right?
Cantonese,
Because
yeah.
that's how. Well, this is honestly to like Ryan Coogler and his team. Like, this is so specific
Yeah.
that they don't even. Why would you even bother asking, right? But they wanted to know Toisan or Cantonese.
Oh.
And honestly, in that era, they were more likely Toisan than they were
Oh,
Cantonese.
you're right.
So I was like, probably Toisan, which is not my native language.
Toisanese sounds more like Taiwanese sometimes.
A little bit, right? It's
Yeah,
like it's kind
it's
of
like a
like
mix.
villager Cantonese.
Yeah.
So the vampire is speaking this like village dialect of Chinese to Grace, saying, "I know how you like to be licked." And I remember when they asked me about that line, I didn't know the full script yet, and I was like, "Whose line is this that you need to say in Chinese?" I was like,
What
"Oh
plot
my
point is
god!"
this?
What do you rate Remick's delivery on that?
6 out of 10.
Okay.
Not bad, not bad.
tried.
He tried.
He just learned. He just killed them.
He
But
just killed him.
he
He
had
just
just
sucked
killed
in the
him.
memories and
Yes.
knowledge.
But I think like the emotional part of like hearing some white vampire speak your native language, then threaten to eat your daughter. I mean,
Yeah.
I would, man, I don't know.
I
I wouldn't let them in, but I would have probably ran outside.
truly,
Yeah.
truly speak your language and threaten to eat your daughter. The greatest fear of every immigrant.
Truly. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah.
My guy here, how many days in a row learning Mandarin Chinese on Duolingo?
I meant like 1,400 and something.
Ooh.
1,400 is also the number of days that he said "I love you." Since he first said "I
So
love
did
you."
you start learning I love you the same day you started Duolingo?
No, I started Duolingo first.
But you knew you loved
Love
me before
takes
you
time.
did.
Yes.
Love takes time.
Because he knew
Yeah.
he needed to talk to my mom.
No, that was it. Yeah, I withheld saying I love you until
You could say it in Chinese.
no. Oh, whiny Jenny.
Aw.
But no, until we were like doing more together, right, and stuff. Because it was like otherwise, then it's just like, man, you're pretty fresh out the gate, you know. But
Yeah, we have been accused of having a U-Haul lesbian relationship.
indeed,
Yeah, the lesbians have clocked that.
yeah, they are very supportive.
that. We love that.
You get a Subaru.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in. Listen, it reinforced a level of the discourse, which is can't trust these hoes. A little bit.
Yes.
A little bit. Also, I like to. People did kind of say that Sinners gave them a little Get Out vibes too,
Yeah.
and famously in Get Out, the one Asian that was also featured in the pack of like the white people,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
That were like buying
At the auction.
at the
buying,
auction.
Yeah.
There was like all white people and then one Asian.
One
That was
Asian
also a
guy.
very
Yeah.
deliberate choice because unfortunately that's how we are perceived.
Mhm.
Asians are perceived as being white accomplices
Mhm.
Mhm.
White
and
adjacent.
white adjacent. And there's some Asians who buy into that.
Mhm. I also think of Do the Right Thing, the Korean store owners.
Yes.
And as the city is burning down in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
he's like holding the broom and he's like, I'm black. Oh.
I'm black. Don't burn down my store. I'm black.
I mean, that was
Wow.
also, was that during or before like the Watts riots of it all? Or that was
It was
before
after
no, Do the Right Thing was before though. I think
before 92.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was before.
Not Watts riots, but you know,
because I think
Rodney King.
Yeah.
for elder millennials of my age, like who were
Yeah.
like came of age in the late 80s, early 90s, that was a
Yes.
very negative solidifier of Asian-Black relations
Mhm.
because
Oh,
that whole
mhm.
thing was based off that storekeeper shooting that girl in the
Yeah.
back of the head.
Yeah.
So that was like very like that's in like encoded in me as
Mhm.
like the base of the relationship, which I've actually
Yes.
had to like unlearn as I've gotten older.
Aw.
But also just like that's what the media does to you, and like
Yeah.
you know that they put you in that position to like, not fight the real enemy,
Mhm.
as Sinead O'Connor would say.
Yes,
Ugh.
yes. And I feel like the dynamic in the movie does bring that history up for people too. It's a more contemporary history, right? But
Mhm.
we are talking about like early 1900s versus like way more recent history when we're talking about like these store owners and shopkeepers. So I do think the worlds are quite different. But I think the sentiment is very valid. Like it brings up the same feeling of like antagonism between the Black and Asian community.
Yeah.
It all does come back to like this is all in the benefit of white supremacy, right? There is
Mhm.
nothing better than for these two minority groups to really not get along and to not like each other.
Yeah.
And for sure, the inherent racism is all over. But like I said, racism, guns in America, pew pew.
Yeah.
not gonna disappear anytime soon.
No.
Is there anything else? Final words around Sinners? Because I mean, I feel like I could dive even deeper, but there's so many other topics.
See it in theaters. See it in IMAX.
Yeah,
We-
see it on a big screen.
Y'all,
Yeah.
it's all the tickets are so sold out for LA for the 70 millimeter.
Truly.
So we gotta figure it out. I hope they get a long run of that because I want the
Mhm.
opportunity to see it.
They're
Yeah.
gonna keep running it until the seats aren't sold out.
Yeah, I hope so.
Good.
It's money if it's making money for them. The
Yeah.
theater owners
Yeah.
will keep pushing it. You know what I mean?
I did get to see
And-
it at the Vista last night. That was my second viewing, and it's awesome at the Vista.
With the full format.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes don't like to support Tarantino, but whatever. Anyway, let's move on. Number 3, can we get a hot pope? We have to
Mhm.
discuss it. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. the most recent pope. What's this? Francis?
radical
yeah,
pope.
Francis. Pope Francis. Listen, the bar is in hell,
Yeah.
so to speak, and so this pope definitely got a lot of cred because they did speak in support of gay folks sometimes, as well as stand by not shooting babies and not killing babies in Gaza. So I think that was interesting that Pope
Mhm.
Francis, sort of had that legacy. But let's be honest, could we get a hot pope?
He wasn't a hot pope.
Right.
I mean, I guess he was.
Have
got
we ever had a
closer.
hot pope?
I don't think so.
I'm not even Catholic and I care.
I don't
mean,
think so.
Definitely after conclave.
I know.
Not since Jude Law. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
A Jude Law pope. Here's my thing. Asking if we want a hot pope reminds me of what every good MLM does and cult and religion is it's all marketing, baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay? Listen, how did white Jesus proliferate so well all
Mhm.
over the world? Okay?
Truly.
They were out here selling conventional attractiveness in these effigies of
Yeah.
Jesus. All right? Jesus ain't white,
No.
but look at him with his pale, creamy skin.
And his ass, his side abs.
His
Ugh,
side
his side
abs, his
abs.
long, lustrous hair.
Mhm.
That is good marketing. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I were the Catholic Church, I'd go all in. Okay, we're not in the world anymore where it's just all tablets and lore. All right?
No.
We need to see your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Testament.
We got that new we need that
That
new
new
pope.
We need that new pope. That new pope.
Jude Law. We need the cheekbones of Charles Melton.
Well, that's
Truly. Could he be pope? Oh,
Is
I'd
he
die.
eligible to
I'd
be
be
pope?
Catholic. I would convert if Charles Melton were pope.
I loved Conclave so much. It was the traitors of the Catholic Church.
It really was.
Right? I'm obsessed with traitors on Peacock, okay? And it was equally gay.
So gay. Oh my God, Conclave was so gay. But
Gay
they were
hot
having a
pope?
true kiki.
Ooh.
The backstabbing, the
Ugh.
secrecy.
The vestments.
the vest, the robes,
The walk and talks.
the walk and
Oh, I
talks,
love the
Mm.
robes.
It was like
the
drag
lo-
race.
the
Mhm.
lobbying.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
Oh, it is like
Could
drag
Nymphia
race.
Wind be Pope?
Yes! a Taiwanese,
Yes, a Taiwanese
Pope?
drag queen. Sickening outfits.
They are talking about how
Sickening.
there could be the first Asian pope if they
Yeah.
were Filipino,
Aren't they considering a black pope and a Filipino pope?
just
I
like a
haven't-
conclave.
I haven't paid a
Mhm.
shred of attention because I really don't care
Right.
about the Catholic Church.
Truly,
But
honestly,
like,
same.
so like, this is like not going to be Charles Melton, but I'd love it if it were like a black or Filipino person.
That'd be
How did
pretty
that-
hot.
How does it even happen? Are they like? I don't even know how the system works, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not even mad at that
Are-
anymore.
Are they a cardinal?
Yeah, you just have to be a practicing Catholic. You don't even have to be like a thing
Oh.
ordained as a thing.
Really?
So technically, I think
Anybody?
so. Fact check me. I don't know.
Nobody fact check.
Maybe.
Religion's not really great at fact checking.
Facts.
Who needs it?
No facts.
Who needs it?
In the New Testament.
If they wrote a New Testament, I would root for. If you said I will write the new, oh my god, the gays would be all over that new.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Let's nominate. Since we actually don't care, let's just nominate who would we want to be hot.
Ooh.
I already nominated Charles Melton.
Okay.
Damn. you took-
Lustrous
okay,
hair,
okay.
incredible cheekbones, the ethnic ambiguity. What a new
Mm.
look
Ooh.
for the new century.
Okay. Do you have one?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
Why?
Because I
Wahlberg.
want to hate the Pope again. I don't
Oh,
like Catholicism.
That's right.
I don't think Catholicism needs to be sold to us. In real
Mm,
talk,
you're
they're just like a
right.
tax scam
You're
that like kind of
right.
like like essays little
Mm.
children. So like
Yeah.
fuck them.
No, that's true.
And I think who better to say fuck them than see their face every day than Mark Wahlberg.
I already dislike Mark Wahlberg a
Yeah,
lot.
Exactly.
You're
I know.
right.
So punchable. Very
Right?
punchable face.
He's already
Mhm.
punched the Vietnamese man.
Mm.
Yeah, blinded him.
What if you go the other direction and instead go with Pedro Pascal for Pope?
No,
And
you're
then
right.
it's just now we're
That's
going
a
into
No, no,
it's
no,
a new
though.
new era for the church in
No.
general.
You can't fix it
and
from the
it's-
inside.
No.
It's a vestige that needs to die.
Actually, I'm very convinced by what Blakely's saying. We can't go that way.
Don't sully Pedro Pascal.
No, it would be Pedro Pascal bringing everyone
No.
up with
Then
it.
just have him start a religion. Like
Well,
he's
Separate
close enough to it
religion.
I would
now.
follow that.
I'll be a Pascalian.
Exactly. A
Pascalian.
Pascapalian.
A Pascapalian.
I'd be a Pascapalian.
I like Pascalian because I'll make Pascalian pancakes.
Mm.
Ooh, see
Mhm.
now.
Now we're
Now we're
talking.
talking. Now we're talking.
Now.
That's how we sell it with
The new
Pascalian
new.
pancakes. No, I love that. Let's cast a villain as the hot new pope,
Mhm,
Yeah.
so we
mhm.
can hate them.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's honestly so much of religion and God versus devil, heaven versus hell. It's like it's attractive and yet devilish. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's making me feel things that I shouldn't feel.
It's very sinners.
Mm-hmm.
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 How about you? What do you think? Who should be cast?
I was thinking someone who's like ready for it, and I was thinking Lenny Kravitz. If he is
Ooh.
celibate,
Why?
he'd be
Who's
ready.
Lenny I don't want Lenny Kravitz to be,
He'd be ready.
given to the Roman Catholic Church.
Honestly,
but
but
he looked good in a Ferrari.
and
Popes love
if he could do to the churches what he did to his Parisian apartment, in.
Architectural
And-
Architectural Digest.
Digest.
Watch it.
If
The
he
tour.
if we tour the Vatican, oh my god.
The Vatican
And-
is already so ostentatious. The maximalism would go off the chain.
No, but I want him to
I
like
feel like he'd
full,
fit right in.
full rights to like break it down. Like
Mhm.
I want the church, the Vatican brought down to the studs and redesigned Lenny Kravitz style. The amount of people that would probably die of aneurysms. Oh, delicious.
Yes. The robes.
Delicious.
Think about
Give
the robes.
Make it mid-century modern. Make the whole Vatican
Just gray,
brutalist.
Brutalist.
gray hardwood floors, just
Oh,
millennial
man.
chic.
Or just like Jesus is replaced with like John Lennon's old shirt. I would love it. Like
I
Yoko,
love it.
like Yoko Ono is like second in charge. Like yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I
See,
mean-
it could be a different vision.
You're right.
Mm.
We've been. I mean, it's right there, right? The Vatican by Gucci, the Vatican by Prada.
They already have so many luxury cars,
I know.
Porsches,
Do they
Ferraris.
drive?
They have to.
do.
They
Where
do
does
be
one
driving.
drive? Where's the Vatican? Italy?
It's in Italy.
Okay.
It's, like a little island. It's like a little island within Italy.
Does one drive in Italy?
Yes,
I guess if you got
it's
a little
difficult,
Ferrari,
but yeah, that's
But,
why they
like,
have.
Do popes have driver's licenses?
Oh, Pope has a Pope mobile.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. It's
They need
Automobile is-
vehicles.
G-Wagon.
Listen, just accept it. There
Okay.
are branding
I'm
opportunities.
like, I'm looking for logic where there is none. So I'm just like, wait, where does he get his driver's test? Where did Pope Francis learn?
Listen, there are branding opportunities. This is not like Buddhism. This is not an
No.
ascetic religion, okay? If you've seen any of the gold in the robes, it is all about the swag. Okay, so
Mhm.
just it's all there. It's all there.
Honestly, I'm gonna
Lenny
come back. I like
Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz doing it because
What?
honestly, if like
What?
YSL,
Yeah.
have you seen the thigh high men's boots in this collection? If
Oh,
all of them had to wear those leather thigh highs, I'd fucking join.
I
I'd be
think
a
it's very
cardinal.
new.
If I could have if I could have access to the latest YSL men's collection, I would join the Catholic Church immediately. Anthony Vaccaro, if you hear me, I will sell my soul for those boots.
The Vatican understands that capitalism works. They know.
I mean, honestly, I would make a whole other podcast just to have the three of us rebrand problematic things.
Katy Perry, go.
It's not worth my energy. I'd rather sell things that are worthwhile. Let's be real.
Oh damn.
Oh, sorry.
She could be a monk.
She could
That's
be.
a good rebrand for her.
I mean, she's already been branded. But well, Russell Brand. Just kidding.
Oh, no,
Let's
I didn't-
move on.
oh, I didn't think about
Hot
that.
Pope. I know. Sometimes my punchlines are a little far. Let's get to it. Number 4. You suggested this
Yes.
lately. Lack of critical thinking. Why do you want to discuss this?
Because I think facts don't exist anymore. I
They
think everybody gets their
don't.
news from like, I feel like if you don't know what like the Dewey Decimal System is, I don't fuck with you. Or like citing your sources, and like I hate to be like Gen Z, but like a lot of Gen Z doesn't know
I know.
how to like cite a news source or
Mhm.
look for things, because I realize that like even when I post, they're like, "You're my news." I'm like, that's bad. I am giving you a highly opinionated take. I am saying I am not. I am subjective based on my fucking mood and how hungry I'm. They're like, that's facts. I'm like, no, I'm just saying like.
No.
I'm out here saying Romeo Beckham is black and half the internet believes it. That's a lie. I'm lying, but I'm
Mhm.
making a case.
That's like how I feel everyone's Asian.
right.
And
Yeah.
I see it though.
Romeo Beckham.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Mom,
I bet.
fucking
I bet
Posh
money.
Spice?
I bet money he sings the Stevie Wonder version of Happy Birthday. That's the tell.
Gasp.
Where'd you grow up? But
But the difference between facts and opinion is very
people
malleable.
don't know.
They don't know
People
anymore.
Don't know.
Well, I think part of the problem
Journalist.
I think part of the problem is now that Google has implemented its like AI search thing, the AI results don't give you verified information. It has a bias towards what you search.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it spits out answers that are satisfying what you're looking for. And I'm seeing people now like take screenshots of these Google AI results and be like, this is facts. It's like, it's not. This is machine generated summarization that helps answer your specific question. It doesn't mean it's factual. You still have to look at the sources.
I did not know the children were doing this.
They
Oh,
absolutely
Screenshotting the
are.
AI
There's
generated
Yes.
Google search
no
results.
critical
They'll Google it in the
thinking.
top AI thing, but they don't know.
They'll be like,
This
is the Pope hot? And then it'll say AI, well, many people believe that the Pope is hot, including Blakely Thornton on Twitter.
Is Romeo Beckham black? Is Romeo Beckham black? Can we look that
I
up?
can promote this enough where it'll happen.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
look up right now. Is Romeo Beckham black?
It's
And
like-
let's see what the AI
like-
generatedness is.
Hopefully it's.
Hopefully, it says according to Blakely
According to Blakely
Thornton.
Thornton, Romeo Beckham isn't.
No, Romeo Beckham is not black. He is of English and Irish descent, the second son of David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, a former Spice Girl member. Romeo's ethnicity is Caucasian.
We can change.
Okay, that's
that.
good. We
All we
can
need to do
probably
is put
change
out like
that.
10 articles
We
that
can
says
change
he's
it.
black,
We can
and
change
it
it.
will come out.
I'm
that
gonna
he's
say it
not
in
black.
every Met Gala interview.
And
Like,
just to see
Romeo
it.
Beckham is black. How has his dandyism affected you? Just do it enough.
I'm excited to see you report from the red carpet.
That's
Oh
gonna
my
be It's gonna
God.
be a hot mess.
Met
I'm excited.
Are
Gala.
you reporting from the Met Gala?
Yes, I'm doing it for New York Magazine. So like, I mean, there's certain things. I think certain people will know to stay away from me, and I've told them like, you know who you hired. So like, if Kim comes up there, if Jeff Bezos comes up there, will it be a
Mm.
cultural car crash?
God,
A brutal one,
I'm waiting for it.
A fatal one.
Jaws of life, bring it.
exactly. One of us, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Let's put it this way. So good.
And
luck.
you've been working out.
Oh yeah,
so-
exactly. You know, we'll see what happens, but
I mean,
yeah.
critical thinking. It also kind of makes me think about the alignment that people have shifted themselves into in order to make money off of this right turn in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
like Kim Kardashian, like
Mhm.
right, like also just it
Jeff
just came out,
Jeff
Yeah.
Bezos, Mark
Yes.
Zuckerberg. Tech bros used to be like heavily democratic.
but they're out here
Yes.
being like, no, I'm following the money, so whatever
Yeah.
it takes culturally, I will shift. It's like there's just a new New York Magazine article. I think it's New York or the cut,
Mhm.
that's talking about Whitney Cummings.
I saw that too.
Mhm.
I
When
didn't
it's
know
like
she
Whitney
did that.
Cummings, I know. Oh no, I've been clocking that.
Oh no.
I'm acquainted with Whitney. I used to work for her
Yeah.
as my first Hollywood job as an assistant for the second season of Whitney on NBC.
Well, 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 look at that. You just caught the end of the free episode.
Now, if you want to hear the entire version, uncut, ad-free, subscribe to jennyyang.substack.com. Paid subscribers keep me talking my shit and get the full extended cut plus bonus material. Free Substack subscribers get my media recommendations and access to a subscriber-only chat area so we can discuss the news and each episode with a like-minded community. It's a good time. So go to jennyyang.substack.com to support independent media and me, Jenny Yang. What should we talk about? Yeah, why don't you leave a cute voicemail or text at 323-250-3589. Oh, and be sure to follow, rate, and review, you know the usual, wherever you listen to this podcast, right? If you write a super cute review, maybe we might read it on the air. Yeah. I think that's the end, but what if I just kind of like breathe my way out of this one, you know what I mean? Just let everyone relax, you know? Just really... Okay, bye.